Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Heather. I am in the Children's Book World basement, and we are here today to celebrate the book birthday for Jen Kalanita's book, Retake. Happy book birthday, Jen.
Yay! Thank you. I'm very excited.
We are super excited. I can't wait for you all to read this book. We have some fun things happening. We're going to do some giveaways. And do you want to show everybody what we're giving away?
Yes, please. So we're giving away one set of things to people who are pre-ordering the book and ordering from Children's Book World. And then we're going to give another set away to people who are joining us live and ask some questions in the chat. So we have a really cute Retake t-shirt designed by author Taryn Souders. Do you know her, who does Coop Knows the Scoop? She designed these. So we have a t-shirt, and then we also have this cinch bag. Is this cute for summer?
So cute.
And then we, when you pre-order from Children's Book World, you get a personalized autographed copy. You also get a bookmark, these cool shiny stickers, and a ready for a retake pin. So super excited about that. And I have names of everybody who's been pre-ordering that I'm going to put in a bowl for us to pick from at the end of our chat today.
And for those of you who are watching now, if you post, comment, question, or just say hi to us, tell us your name, tell us where you're from, we will put you in a fishbowl to win one of the two prizes as well. Actually, if you can, show us your favorite emoji in the chat. I'm not technologically savvy enough to know if you can do that from a computer, but if you're watching on your phone, I know you can do it, or just tell us what it is. So I think we're going to start baking in a little bit, but before that, why don't you tell us a little bit about Retake?
So the Retake is the first non-fairy tale book I've done in a while, and I'm so excited about it. It's a little bit of magical realism because it's about a girl named Zoe in middle school. She gets to school on the first day of 7th grade, and her best friend has kind of friend dumped her, moved on to a new group of girls and forgotten about her. And Zoe is devastated, and she has one of those classic horrible first day of school, can't open her locker, can't find her schedule, can't get on the bus, all of the above. And she takes her phone out in class. And as we all know, you can't really have your phone out in school. Even now, she gets it confiscated. And at the end of the day, when she takes her phone back, when she gets back from the principal's office, there's this strange new app on there. It doesn't have a name. It looks a lot like Instagram. And it has all of her social media posts inside the app, all of her pictures from her friendship with her best friend. And what she quickly realizes, if she clicks on any of those pictures, she can time travel back to that moment. And so she uses the app to try to fix things with her best friend, save her friendship. And I just love this story because it deals a lot with social media and, just our like thirst to see what everybody else is doing and how that affects us as people, middle school friendships, and a little bit of time travel.
Awesome. So much fun. And I did get an advance copy of the book and read it, and you guys are going to absolutely love it. So the obvious question is, I've known you for a while. I know you have not time traveled and have been able to retake anything, but was there some type of real life experience that maybe this book was based on? A little bit?
Yes. When I was in elementary school, I grew up here on Long Island. And when I was in elementary school, one of my best friends in the world was a girl named Elpida. And we sat at the same lunch table and we'd been friends for years. And one day, for some reason that I actually can't remember, I almost think I blocked it out. I just was like, I cannot sit at this lunch table anymore. I was just hurt and I was sad and I was upset. And I moved to a new lunch table. And Elpida and I never really had a falling out. We were never, frenemies, and we didn't get we always got along. We would say hi to each other, but we weren't close anymore. And that was really hard because this was like my person, one of my people. And we reconnected on Facebook when we were in our 20s. She found me. And now we are so close. We have done 3 Disney half marathon runs together and trained together. And the main character in the book is named Zoe because that's the name of her daughter. So that's kind of like my tribute to her. And the funny thing is, when we talk about that now, I've asked her several times, do you remember what happened that I left the lunch table? And she's like, no, neither of us can remember. So it's just kind of proof that friendships go through ups and downs and they change and they grow, but the enduring ones are here to stay.
That is true. That's a great story. The book deals a lot, obviously, with social media. And I think it's not just an issue for kids, it's an issue for adults as well. I think we have been sort of trained to have this like perfect picture that, I can't even tell you how many times I retake something, like my eye is blinking or, my hair is in my face and I think it's just such a great book also to sort of talk about that and how, there's a scene in the book, I don't want to give too much away, where they're at a sleepover and one of the friends is like, I don't want to retake 8 million photos. I just want to have fun. I want to get to the party, So, and I think it's a great message and something that we all need to think about every now and then. And so speaking of getting to the party, we should sort of get this party started with a little baking. Jen's going to make some emoji Rice Krispie treats. I'm going to disappear for a while and let all the magic happen.
So yeah. I will see you when we're done baking, Heather. So in the retake, as Heather just told you, it deals a lot with social media. Heather was saying how we retake a picture 1,000 times. There's a picture of me on Instagram today holding a birthday cupcake for this book. I think I took it like 12 times today. So just about social media not necessarily always being as real as you think it is. And that's something hard for us. So the reason we're doing emoji Rice Krispie treats today is because we figured retake about a girl with a phone who has a time travel app. What do we use a lot on our phone? Messages. What do we put in our messages? Emojis. And emojis are so much fun to make out of Rice Krispie treats. So we're going to do that together right now. I'm actually going to take you with me to the other side of my kitchen and we are going to bake. So all you need if you want to make the Rice Krispie treats, you probably have it in the house, as a matter of fact, is Rice Krispies, you need butter, and you need marshmallows. That's really it. So I'm going to take a frying pan. I'm going to put that on my stove, and I'm going to let it heat up for a minute. I actually got out, what you want to do is if you're going to turn your Rice Krispie treats into emojis, you want to do a nice flat, like almost like a sheet cake worth of Rice Krispie treats. That's 6 cups of Rice Krispie treats, 10 ounces of marshmallows, which truthfully is a little more, it's a little less than a bag. See, I have 1 bag here of Jet Puff marshmallows. 10 ounces is a little less than that, but I kind of eyeball it. 3 tablespoons of butter. And then you want either some butter to rub into your dish you're going to put your Rice Krispie treats in, or I just have some Pam. So I got a Pyrex dish here, right here. And what I'm going to do to prepare it for the Rice Krispies coming is I'm going to spray it just lightly, because you don't want your Rice Krispies to stick. You want to be able to get them out later. So I'm just giving it a nice thin layer just so it's ready for us. And then I'm going to go over to my pan and I'm going to take my 3 tablespoons of butter and I'm going to let that melt for a few minutes. You want that to melt before you actually put your marshmallows in. And then you have to actually move pretty quickly, to be honest with you, because you don't want your marshmallows to burn. Do not walk away for any reason. That part is going to move fast. But while the butter is melting, I will tell you that in the retake, as Heather was telling you about the social media aspect of it, what I really love about this book is, as Heather said, a lot of us have been spending so much time online this past almost year, and even before then. And even as an adult, it's the same thing kids feel when you go online and you look at a social media post and you see everybody's hanging out without you. They've all gone out to dinner without you. It's a very weird feeling. And it seems like that's so much harder for a kid to understand. So Zoe deals a lot with that. Watching her best friend move on to a new group of friends, constantly posting with those friends, all of them hanging out. There's a scene at the sleepover where Zoe and when she goes back in time to meet up with her best friend and she's at the sleepover with a group of girls, they kind of set up this very casual photo, and it takes so much to make this very casual photo happen. And we've all been there and we've all seen that. So I just love the message of this book, just trying to be more real, be yourself, and that you can't really pretend to be someone you're not. Be true to yourself. So that was a lot of fun to write about. So my butter is starting to melt a little bit. I'm just going to give it another minute. I'm going to swirl it around in the pan. Now, if you're going to turn your Rice Krispies into emojis, you're going to want to let your Rice Krispies settle for a little bit after they're pressed in the pan. You can either, put it in the fridge to make it move quicker, or I usually just let mine sit for an hour so they really set in. And then what you're going to need is some cookie cutters. I actually have a round cookie cutter that I'll show you that is perfect for an emoji. You could cut it, you could cut circles out with a knife, whatever works for you. And then you can decorate them, and I'll show you the stuff I have for decorating. I actually have some frosting. You could use food coloring, you can use sprinkles. You can really have fun with it. Some gel pens, and that is part of the fun. So our butter is starting to melt here. I'm going to turn it up a little bit so it melts a little quicker. And I'm going to open up my marshmallows. I'm going to eyeball it, as I said. And I'm going to pour in about a little more than half. You can see that in there. And now I'm just going to start moving my marshmallows around. This part happens kind of fast. You want to really make sure that you constantly get it saturated in the butter, that it starts to melt. And then you're going to quickly remove it from the heat, and you're going to stir in your Rice Krispies and then pour it in the pan. So there's another really fun scene in the retake that I love that involves Post-it notes. And I don't want to give too much away, but it was inspired by something I had actually seen on social media myself before I started writing the book. I had seen a blogger post that a teacher friend of hers had gone into a girl's bathroom, and she had seen a wall of Post-it notes that the girls were leaving each other anonymously. Just kind of pick me up notes, just if you've had a bad day, hey, hang in there, hope you smile today, things like that, just to build each other up rather than to tear each other down. And a light bulb went off in my head, and I just thought, I've got to work this into the retake somehow. So I won't tell you exactly how, because it comes a little later in the book. But since then, I feel like I have spotted those kind of Post-it note walls everywhere. As a matter of fact, before lockdown, a lot of the Starbucks by me here in New York would have their own version of like a Post-it note wall, where you could go in, you could take a Post-it note, you could just leave an anonymous message for someone, or you could take one that was already there. And I love that. I love that idea of just doing something kind for someone you don't know, and you don't even realize how amazing it makes the other person feel. All right, so our marshmallows are starting to get really saturated in the butter now. They're starting to melt. We're going to give it one more minute. So while we're doing that, I will tell you that I actually have 3 other books coming out this year, believe it or not. So it pretty much because of lockdown and the pandemic and release dates moving and whatnot, the retake comes out today, which I'm so excited about. And then in April, I have my next Disney Twisted Tale book, which is about Hercules, believe it or not. It's called Go the Distance. And the twist in that one is, what if Meg had to become a Greek god? The idea being that at the end of the movie, Hercules becomes a Greek god, and he asks Zeus if he can stay on Earth to be with Meg. And truthfully, that never sat well with me. I kind of felt like Zeus would never agree to let his kid stay on Earth when he'd just become a god. So in my version, Zeus says no. And if Meg wants to be with Herc, she has to go on this epic quest that Hera, Zeus's wife, has set up with her to prove she's worthy of being a god herself. So that comes out at the beginning of April. And then in the fall, I have a book coming out called The Tales of Flynn Rider, which is about Flynn from Tangled. It's his origin story. It's how Eugene Fitzherbert goes from Eugene to Flynn and how that happens. And then in October, I have the next Royal Academy Rebels book, Heroes, which really mashes up the Fairy Tale Reform School kids with the Royal Academy kids, which is a lot of fun. Okay, now that I've told you all that, I can tell you that our marshmallows are finally getting very gooey. And this is a fine line. You want them to melt just enough, but not too much that they start to burn. See how that's kind of moving around in there? So I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to move my pan off the heat a little bit, but I want you guys to be able to see, so I'm not going to move it off too much. And now I'm going to take my 6 cups of Rice Krispie treats, and I am going to pour them in. And you're just going to mix it. You're going to mix it all through. Make sure all your Rice Krispies are coated, and then I'm going to slide it into the pan. And I'll show you a trick I use on how to flatten the Rice Krispies down. If you have parchment paper, that is a very easy way to do it. You can press your Rice Krispies into the pan. If you don't, I have a little cheat that I use myself. So let's see, we're almost fully coated here. And again, you really don't need, I always say these are not as bad for you as you think, because there's only 3 tablespoons of butter and then some marshmallows. So here we are fully coated. See that like that? And now I'm going to take my Pyrex dish that we talked about, and I am going to pour it into the Pyrex dish, the whole thing. And now we want to flatten it. Now, I'm going to tilt this down a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. I know you can't really see me, but I want you to be able to see this. When you're trying to flatten your Rice Krispies into the pan, you'll notice that the Rice Krispies keep coming up. So what I do is I actually scrape off as much of the Rice Krispie as I can, and then I take my pan and I actually spray the rubber spatula. That kind of gives it, it kind of allows it to press down without getting stuck anymore. I'm not getting as much up. And I want to press down the Rice Krispies until everybody's nice and flat and even, so that later we're going to be able to press out these emojis. So you see how that worked? And you can always give it another spritz, but this actually really did the job nicely. And here we go. A nice flat tray of Rice Krispie treats. Now, just to be ready for you guys, I'm going to take you around the kitchen again with me. We're going to go back here. Just to be ready for you guys, I actually already prepped a tray of Rice Krispie treats. I've allowed them to harden for an hour, to firm up, and this is my tray now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out some emojis to decorate with you. Now, if you've joined us for Books and Baking with Children's Book World before, you might have been with us when Elizabeth Yulberg was on, who has a great new middle grade coming out in May that I love. It's called The Best Worst Summer. And we made scones. And so I had bought these to make scones. This is basically just a round cookie cutter, but as I said, you could use a knife, anything you want. I'm going to press it into my Rice Krispies, and I am going to make my emoji circle. I'm going to press it in. It's been hard, so it's going to take a minute. And the first one's always the hardest to pop out. So I'm going to use my knife here to try to really get this out for us. All right. Okay. Pulling that out here, my little round circle. It's a little squished. I apologize, guys. Okay, I'm going to pop out one more for us so you can really see. And you really want to press it in and then pop it out. I don't know about you. I remember I used to hate using emojis. I was like, why can't we just write back? Why do we have to use emojis? But now I'm kind of enjoying them. Here's another nice little circle. Now, you want to make them look like emojis, right? So there's 2 different things you could do. You could take some vanilla frosting and you could color it with yellow food coloring. I actually ran out of yellow food coloring. So what I did was I had some sprinkles, which we've used in some of the other books and bakings. If you can see that there, they're kind of golden color, so they give the emojis like a goldish hue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a thin layer of vanilla frosting on each of the Rice Krispie treats. And then I'm going to dunk the emoji, the frosted Rice Krispie treat into the sprinkles. Let me do this for you like so. You see that? Now we've got a nice little yellow emoji. I'm going to do it one more time over here, and then we can decorate these. And I was telling Heather and I were both saying we both love Rice Krispie treats. I am a Disney girl, and whenever we've been to Disney World, I cannot leave without having several Mickey Rice Krispie treats. These are emoji ones, and they have frosting, so I can't resist these either. Okay, so now I've got my frosting on, and I'm going to do that one more time. I'm just going to dip. But again, if you've colored your food coloring, if you've colored your frosting yellow, you can just do it that way. Here we go. And now the fun is decorating. So I have some candy eyeballs here for emojis. I have some heart. You ever do the heart eye emojis? We can do one of those. And then what you can use, you can have some fun with doing some glitter gel. I actually have some black glitter gel because, so many of the emojis have like black smiles. You could do sunglasses. Let's do a heart eye emoji first. I'm going to pop that on like so. Isn't that cute? They come out so cute. And then on the other one, I'm actually going to use some Google eyes that I got. Some little Google eye emojis. And then with my black gel pen, I am just going to put a nice little mouth on both of them. And I will finish this up, and then we can see if Heather has any questions for us. Let me just show you what this looks like. It's very hard to do the mouths, I will be honest. There you go. Can you see that? Your little emoji. So Heather, do we have any questions that we can answer?
We do. We actually have a question from Courtney. I'm going to see if I can pop this up here because it's kind of long. There we go. Okay, so what color do the Charmochinos from the Heroes Books and Baking turn when someone is happy? She said she's prepping for the release of Heroes.
Wow, Courtney, she remembers that we talked about the Charmochinos. Okay, so the Charmochinos, in my mind, just for those of you who don't know what they are, in Royal Academy, underneath the castle where the kids go to school, is basically a royal mall with all kinds of magical stores that the kids can go to. And in Heroes, there is a new Starbucks-style shop where it's called Charmed, I'm sure, where the kids get these drinks called Charmochinos, which are like Frappuccinos. Of course, they're not like, you know how Starbucks has some of those specialty Frappuccinos where you can only get them for like a week. They're like unicorn Frappuccinos. So the Charmochinos work, you just kind of walk up and they basically they know exactly what you need, what you would want, Heather. And you'd get your Charmochino and there would be like a sparkler or something on it. And you would make a wish. And then whatever your best wish was would show up for the next like hour or so. So some kids will wind up with a unicorn. Some will wind up with a fancy ball gown. It's kind of all, it's anything you could imagine. But if you wish for something that's not appropriate or just not nice, then the Charmochino might blow up in your face a little bit, smoke. And so we might have to make some Charmochinos when Heroes comes out in October.
I love that idea. Then we can all make some wishes.
Yes, but that's such a great question, Courtney. Thank you.
We also have a question from Emily. She would like to know what age range is the retake appropriate for? I kind of gave my answer of what I thought in my head, but I'm curious of what you thought.
Yeah, it's funny because it is a middle grade book, but Zoe is in 6th grade. So I like to say that it definitely deals with upper elementary school or young middle school issues. Where my kids go to school, elementary school goes through 6th grade, but I have a lot of friends whose kids finish elementary school in 5th grade. So they're in middle school in 6th grade. So I would say 5th or 6th grade and up is entirely appropriate. They're just dealing with some more serious middle school issues with friendship and, friendships dissolving. And of course, if your kid is old enough to have a phone, then it's a nice reminder of how to be kind to each other on social media and not to believe everything you see on there. So I'd say 5th and 6th grade and up.
So another question that actually pertains more to the writing process is, and kind of to the retake idea. So editing is a lot like retaking or redoing.
Yes.
I'm always curious with authors. Is there ever anything that you really wanted in the book that your editor was like, I don't think we should keep this in? And if there was, did you fight for it? And did it end up in the book or did you take it out?
You know what? It depends on the book. Like every situation is so different. I think the wonderful thing about having an editor, and what I always like to tell people who like to write and kids who like to write is, trust in someone to be your editor, whether it's a friend, a parent, a teacher, because sometimes they see things you don't see. So sometimes when I put something in the book and my editor sees it, she might say, well, I don't think this is working because of A, B, C, or D. And I'll think to myself, oh, she's right. She's right. You're right. This doesn't actually work. Sometimes you want to make a case for it. So in the case of the retake, it was funny. We really struggled, my editor, Kelsey, and I really struggled with trying to figure out, like, do we name this app or do we leave it more vague? So we wound up leaving it more vague. We wound up not giving the app a name because then we thought it kind of opened it up to questions like if somebody else saw the app on her phone, they might try to download the app, like where did the app come from? So it's just this app with like a icon that looks a little bit like Instagram, and that is that. And then like how much magic you want to delve into. And my editor really liked the idea of the magic just being the magic, which I think works so well. I mean, I've read some books where I really love that approach, where it was just like, this is what it is. This is just a time travel app. I don't know if you ever read Rebecca Searle's some of her books, like The Dinner List. She has this book, The Dinner List, which is an adult book, but it's about a girl who goes out for her 30th birthday for dinner, and sitting at the table is like some of her deceased friends and family, Audrey Hepburn, a college professor, and they never really explain how this all happens. It's just, that's the way it is. So I did like that my editor kind of felt that way. Like, let's not over explain the magic and get into it. It's just, this is a time travel app and it just appears on certain people's phones who might need it.
And it's true, because, when you're reading it, you sort of don't even question it. You're sort of just like, wow, I wish I had one.
Right.
And when you read it, you're not so sure you want one, but.
I know. It sounds like such a good idea at the time, especially after 2020. Like, oh, it'd be fun to have, a time travel app and go back. But
yeah, big retakes.
Plan with time travel never go as planned.
Yep, true. Okay, so let's do, should we pick some winners of the gifts we're giving out?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is, while you pick that out, I am going to put our email in the chat and also on the screen, because if you are the winner, if you can email us your address, please, we will ship you your prize. So that's going on in the chat. I'll put it up here so you all can see it.
So I'm going to pick from all the wonderful people who've pre-ordered from the retake already, and they will get the cinch bag and they will get the t-shirt and all the regular swag with their personalized signed book. Okay, I just want to make sure I have a last name for this now. I'm going to look. Where is my last name? Did I lose this person? Did I make up this person? Heather, I have somebody on here that I don't actually have on my list. It's almost like it was time traveled into my. No, I have it. Okay. Okay. Rachel has won. And Rachel is actually Megan Goffrick's pre-order. So I will get you that name. So congratulations to Rachel.
Yay!
Who ordered the book for you.
Awesome.
And who's winning a cinch bag and a t-shirt?
Shall I pull mine? All right. So this is somebody from the chat today. And again, email us at info@childrensbookworld.net. And the winner is Emily, who asked the question? Yay, Emily Cook, you have one. A cinch bag and a t-shirt. So shoot us your email. Let us know your winner. We are very excited about that. And of course, again, you know, it wouldn't be a birthday party without party favors. So if you haven't pre-ordered your book, you can still do that today if you would like one and get the bookmark, the sticker, and the pin.
Pin. I love
Yes.
this. It says ready for a retake. Yes, please.
And you can definitely hear, I'll pop up, you know, you can go right to childrensbookworld.net and we have a link for pre-order if you want to get your pre-order in before the end of the day and get party favors. Birthdays are always so much fun.
So
They're
much
most fun when you get to spend them with friends and get to celebrate their new book, which is so good. And I'm so excited for you, Jen. And 3 more books, which means lots of celebrations throughout the year and lots more.
Yeah,
baking.
For Hercules. So we're gonna have some really good Greek dessert.
Oh, yum. Baklava, or oh my gosh.
We're gonna make baklava before
It will be fun. And now I'm gonna have all this Disney music stuck in my head from Hercules. I love that. I love that movie. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jen.
World for having me. I always love being with you guys. And thank you for doing the pre-orders for the retake.
Oh, we're so happy. And everybody who ordered will get their books very, very soon. So check your mailboxes. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.